There once were 13 colonies in North America under the British king. Each colony had many proud citizens. In 1775, though, they became sick of their king and wanted change. They no longer wanted a king, but rather wanted their own country. The only way to become independent was by fighting the mighty British Army. They needed to use guns, and that is exactly what they did. Against all the odds, they succeeded in defeating the king and created their own democratic government with its own constitution.
A lot has changed in the past 200 years. Some people believe that the U.S. citizens no longer need to protect themselves as much with guns. Many, though, still believe that guns are very important in protecting the freedoms of the United States citizens. They believe that if they are not allowed to have firearms, they will be unsafe from small and large threats. Here's what the Vice President of the National Rifle Association, Wayne LaPierre, had to say during the 2014 Conservative Political Action Conference on why the U.S. needs to have guns.
There is no greater freedom than the right to survive and protect our families with all the rifles, shotguns, and handguns we want.
That is very interesting. Please tell me more.
We know in the world that surrounds us, there are terrorists and there are home invaders, drug cartels, carjackers, knockout gamers, and rapers, and haters, and campus killers, airport killers, shopping mall killers, and killers who scheme to destroy our country with massive storms of violence against our power grids or vicious waves of chemicals or disease that could collapse our society that sustains us all.
Pro-gun advocates say that the Second Amendment clearly states that citizens are allowed to carry any sort of firearm. They believe that having the right to own guns means they can protect themselves and others. They believe that the surest way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. State and national legislatures have gone back and forth on background checks and other gun-related topics. With gun law debates, many other factors come into play, from not wanting so much government control, shooting sports, and that effective gun control is very difficult. Many believe that the bad guys will be able to get a hold of guns one way or another.
In the past 40 years, gun control has received more and more attention and support. A wave of shootings have occurred, including the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and countless attacks in schools and other public places.
29 on your Friday morning. We're going to interrupt programming. We've been telling you this morning there has been a shooting at a school in Newtown. This is the Sandy Hook Elementary School.
This is a Fox News alert. An active shooting scene in Texas, a shooting at the Fort Hood Army base, and the Texas Department.
Right now, we don't have a clue what was going on other than this statement coming in from the U.S. Senate, from the U.S. Capitol Police, saying gunshots have been reported on Capitol Hill.
There is no question that we live in a different time than when the Second Amendment was written. In the early ages of the U.S., most citizens had guns. The Founding Fathers were used to a system in which every able-bodied man was expected to fight in the militia when necessary. Today, this is no longer the case because the U.S. now has its own professional police force, the National Guards. Pro-gun restriction advocates claim that there is no need for guns to help protect the states anymore. The only function of a gun is to kill, and no amount of property is worth a human life. A firearm kept in the home for self-defense is 6 times more likely to be used in a deliberate or accidental homicide than against an unlawful intruder. In 2008, the Supreme Court case District of Columbia versus Heller ruled to overturn an earlier decision on a ban on handguns. It ruled that the Second Amendment does protect an individual right to bear arms, independent of militia service. The court emphasized that some kinds of limitation of guns would remain legal, and Heller's decision applied only to D.C., and it was unclear what standards should apply to state laws. Gun control is a complex topic where both sides have valid points. Although guns will continue to both protect and harm people, the right to bear arms in the United States will continue. How we as a society decide to react and change is up to us. But for now, the Second Amendment will continue to spark many heated debates.